All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, better than ever. Oh, no, yes and no. um, I was feeling kind of wonky, but starting to feel a little bit better. Kind of, don't want to go into the full details, but we are officially back, um, unless otherwise. So we are going to go into our normal shebang, NWA Impact, AEW talk. But before we get into the action, we thought we'd talk about, because as we're recording on a day we usually do record a little bit later, but tonight is going to be Wild Card Wednesday for AEW. It's going to be Samoa Joe versus the Joker, and then Britt Baker versus the Joker. If you had to, no pun intended, put all your chips into one quarter and go all in, who would be your pairing? Who would you think is going to show up here in Houston, Texas, and the Ferrietta Arena or something like that? Who would be your male Joker, and who would be your female Joker after seeing that both of them, not just the one, but both of them are going to be there at the same night?
Well, I initially speculated, I initially said that it could be Claudio Castagnoli and Nixon Newell. But now that they are coming as a package deal, it only makes sense that Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae are going to be the Jokers. That's their whole thing. They are a package deal.
Let me tell you something. Samoa Joe losing is not going to hurt him that bad because he is with ROH and has everything going on with the ROH Television Championship. So to have him losing in the tournament doesn't hurt him. Now Britt Baker, on the other hand, yes and no. Yes and no. The only reason why I say no is because you can still have some plans with her and everything with I don't know. It's kind of tough to choose like who, but having Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano makes the most sense. The husband and wife, they would be going there at the same time. Yeah, I get it. Currently, they posted like over an hour ago that they were in Florida, but mind you, this
technically it was Ciampa that did.
Yeah,
but
let me tell you something. That don't mean anything.
I mean, after all, Mia Yim and Keith Lee posted their vacation picture like not even an hour or so before Dynamite, or like the day before, day of.
Right.
And Keith Lee still showed up. So
first off, we don't even know how far away this photo was taken as well. They could currently be in Houston, Texas, and we don't know about it. We're not going to find out until Dynamite airs. That's when we're going to find out if they're truly going to be there or if they're not going to be there. And if they are, it's going to be a good signing for AEW, both on the men's and women's side. You add in a guy that could potentially go after the AEW championship or go after the TNT championship, vice versa, or when Ciampa does eventually, or something, or there's so many opportunities that you can do with Johnny Gargano. I would think that it would be more so as a singles competitor, because fortunately in NXT we really didn't see him as a singles. It's a great singles run, Johnny Gargano. We did, but we didn't. We saw him more as a singles guy. If there's any guy that of that pairing that got more of the push as a singles guy, it was Ciampa, yeah. Than Gargano. So
they really they brought him in as a tag team guy with DIY, and then once DIY kind of folded after Ciampa got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they kind of had to like do an impromptu, like, oh well, you know, now he's out or what. Well, not to mention um, after the match, also Ciampa had turned heel on his way out, so that kind of like set up the whole thing with that, anyways. So, needless to say, they had those plans in place as it was,
Mm-hmm.
but regardless, once Champa got injured, you kind of had no real other choice but to make Gargano a singles guy.
Right, exactly. And then of course, it would be nice to see Cancel LeRae show up too, um, and actually getting a shot. I don't think she really truly did in
No, she
NXT,
never. She
really. So it would
never.
be nice to honestly see her getting pushed
Yeah,
as such in AEW.
I was gonna
Which,
say she never
which, if
had.
it is truly Candice LeRae, I feel bad for Ruby Soho because
Yeah,
honestly, I really don't think that you can give it to Ruby when you also have Candice LeRae in it as well. So, um, we'll find out. Um, Another bit of news before we do go into our main bit of stuff. If anybody has saw it, Ric Flair
yeah,
is supposedly confirmed his final match. Well, let me tell you something. Before I really go on to all about that, how many times have you had your final match and
exactly.
then came back?
Yeah,
First off, Ric Flair, Rick, if that's truly your real name, um,
Richard.
you almost died in 2017.
2019, actually.
Okay, well, first off, you almost died.
Yeah,
You've had multiple medical problems,
yeah.
and now you're going to be coming back in the ring against one of the hardest hitting tag teams in known to man against FT with FT against FTR. Well, actually, no, he's teaming with FTR against the Rock and Roll Express and a mystery opponent. It was rumored, hence rumored, that it was going to be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Ricky the
He
Dragon
has since
Steamboat.
he has since denied that
Yes,
he's going to come out
it's
of retirement for it.
no, yeah,
Which I honestly I don't blame Ricky because he knows when to call it quits.
yeah,
Ric Flair, on the other hand, does not know when to call it quits.
no,
Just wants to remain relevant in professional wrestling
yeah.
as much as he can, and it's like, dude,
Uh,
you got to know when to give it up. I'm
Unfortunately
sorry.
for Ric Flair, I don't think this is such a good idea for him.
No, absolutely
There
not.
has been a date and a time that this is going to be happening, confirmed by Ric Flair himself.
Yeah, it's like what,
Unfortunately,
July 21st in Nashville, something like
something
that.
like that. We don't know who is going to be the Rock and Roll, Ricky Morton and
Robert Gibson.
Robert Gibson's mystery tag team partner in a six-man tag team match. All we know is it's a six-man tag team match. It's going to be Ric Flair and FTR against Rock and Roll Express and the mystery opponent. If you had to guess, who do you think could be on Rock and Roll Express's side?
Um, you know, as weird as it is, as much as I think he also shouldn't be wrestling, something tells me in the biggest, like, if you want to call it a swerve or whatever, um, you know, it would be like such a uh, plot twist essentially, considering they came up together in the Horsemen. Tully Blanchard.
Mm, I mean, it could be possible.
That's another one that I think.
Yeah, but then he's going up again. Oh, then again, FTR did fire him, so it could happen. Could happen. Um, Definitely keep on the watch out for that, and then watch out for the two wild two jokers on Wildcard Wednesday in AEW. So yeah. And then I guess with that, we're gonna go on to our NWA and Impact talks.
Yeah, so Impact is gearing up towards Slammiversary on June 19th, which will essentially feature the 20-year company anniversary of Impact Wrestling. So, in order to get ready for Slammiversary, we have a lot of qualifying matches and just overall build to Slammiversary. And the qualifying matches in turn are for Ultimate X. So we had the first Ultimate X qualifier between Kenny King and Chris Bay. Kenny King beat Chris Bay. Then we have a Knockouts Tag Team title match. Giselle Shaw and Alicia Edwards versus The Influence. And as should be expected, The Influence retained. History-making announcement by Gail Kim. At Slammiversary, we will have the first ever Queen of the Mountain match. With the participants being Tasha Steele, Chelsea Green, Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and Mia Yim. All former Knockouts champions.
Yeah, if anybody remembers the King of the Mountain tournament,
Yes.
which had the King of the Mountain championship to tie with it.
Yes.
Now, it makes me wonder if they're going to have a Queen of the Mountain championship.
Oh, God, no. The King of the Mountain championship was bad enough as it was. We don't need a Queen of the Mountain championship.
But then again, it's Impact Wrestling and anything is possible. Just look at the Digital Media Championship. Oh wait, sorry. I think it's a little insensitive of me to say.
Yeah. But so for those that don't know, a King of the Mountain match is essentially a reverse ladder match. You climb a ladder with your championship in hand. You climb the ladder and hook it to the mechanism.
Yeah.
So, and then therefore you win the match, and you are the Queen of the Mountain or King of the Mountain, appropriately. So, with that, who do we think is gonna win? It would be nice to see Mia Yim be Queen of the Mountain, but I mean,
I'm gonna have to go with Deonna Purrazzo, honestly.
That's a solid choice. Either way,
I mean, it makes sense because she dropped the ROH Women's World Championship, so why not have her win the Queen of the Mountain tournament?
Well, not to mention it would be a nice callback to, being queen. Anyways, she was the homecoming queen for Impact special on Impact Plus, I believe a year or so ago. Homecoming. Her king was Matthew Raywalt, aka Aiden English. But moving on, then we have Tomohiro Ishii and Josh Alexander going up against Jay White and El Phantasmo of Bullet Club, and Ishii and Josh Alexander get the win. Then we go over the matches that are going to happen tomorrow night. We get Violent by Design invoking their rematch clause against the Briscoes in an Ultimate X qualifier, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Laredo Kid. And then we have 6 women tag team action as Tasha Steele, Savannah Evans, and Deonna Purrazzo will face Taya Valkyrie, Jordan Grace, and Mia Yim. And also tomorrow night is the OGK of Honor No More, OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett versus the Good Brothers. Then we get to the main event. They have brought back Gauntlet for the Gold. So, Gauntlet for the Gold is a very, very old TNA thing that was basically how the first ever Impact world champion was crowned, it was then the NWA World Championship on NWA TNA, and the first
Yep, the 10
champion
pounds of
was
gold.
yes, and the first champion was Ken Shamrock.
Yep, in
So,
2002.
but as a callback, we had Gauntlet for the Gold.
If anybody here has watched the Asylum years of Impact, I haven't, but that's...
Neither have I. I've watched only the first show from the Asylum, but it is all on Impact Plus, so feel free to watch it at your own accord.
Yes.
If you have Impact Plus. But either way, so the Gauntlet for the Gold was basically a number one contender's opportunity to see who would challenge Josh Alexander at Slammiversary for the Impact World title, and it was Eric Young. And that's Impact for the week. Now we get into NWA. We start off with a non-title match between Camille, the champion, and Paula Blaze. Camille beats Paula Blaze. Then we have a match between Matt Taven and Judas. That ended in a disqualification after Father James Mitchell sends down the rest of the Miserably Faithful. So you had Sal the Pal and Gags the Gimp to beat down Taven, which prompts the Briscoes to come down and make the save for Taven. Then we have a backstage segment with Tyrus. He says he wants to be a unified world television champion. Basically, he wants to unify both the NWA World's title and the NWA television title. So then we have the Dirty Sexy Boys of JTG and Dirty Dango beating the team, the Miserably Faithful, Sal the Pal, and Gags the Gimp. Then we go backstage once again with the Pope. He wants to address Trevor Murdoch next week on Power, which Power, if you're on Fight, has already been released, but everywhere else on YouTube it will release on Friday. So then we have a number one contenders triple threat match to the NWA Women's title between Kylan King. You guys might know Kylan King from AEW Dark, Chelsea Green, and Genocide. And Kylan King is now your number one contender to the NWA Women's title.
Which is kind of sad because she can do well in NWA, but not in AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing more needs to be said about that. Then we have the main event, Nick Aldis and the Commonwealth Connection versus Matt Cardona and the Cardona family. So Nick Aldis and the Commonwealth Connection get the victory over Matt Cardona and the Cardona family. That is it for NWA and Impact Talk. Now let's get on to AEW.
Yes, let's get on to AEW talk. Well, we start off the night with some Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament quarterfinal. Adam Cole and Dax Harwood. Man, I tell you.
Dax Harwood knows how to put on some good wrestling.
Yes, he does, especially as a singles wrestler. The whole entire match, I really did think that Dax Harwood was going to get the victory over Adam Cole. They kind of built up the match as like Owen and Shawn in a way.
Well, Brett and Shawn.
Yeah, Brett and Shawn, yes.
Which kind of makes sense because of how much Adam Cole models his, career, if you even want to say that, off of Shawn Michaels and even Dax Harwood with how much he's, modeled,
from the Hart family.
Well, just the Hart family and even just how much he loves Bret Hart. So, because every now and then you'll see him on Twitter saying "Oh, here I am with my masturbatory Bret Hart socks." So,
but unfortunately, it was not Dax Harwood that got the victory. It was Adam Cole.
Baby.
That is going to advance into the semifinals of the Owen Hart tournament. He will face off later tonight, and you'll have to find out more as we go on of who it is. Spoiler alert, it may not be who you think it is. CM Punk and John Silver face off against each other. John Silver is the hometown hero. CM Punk acting a little heelish and coming out with Islander gear as he gets severely booed out of the building because of it. Well, CM Punk and John Silver had a really good match. John Silver put on some great offense. So did CM Punk. And who other to have it as a special commentator? Well, it was the champion himself, Adam Hangman Page. And at one point, CM Punk looks out to Adam Hangman Page and beats John Silver with the buckshot lariat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Adding insult to injury.
Yeah, adding insult to injury. Then Hangman also roars down the ramp, pretty much pissed off, like, "Hey man, can't be using my moves like this," to confront Punk. They get face to face, heated in the moment type of thing. Punk asks if he's mad and is saying he's taking it a little personal, which kind of did seem like he was, because CM Punk did absolutely nothing to Adam Hangman Page. Then all of a sudden he's going out there and saying how he's going to destroy CM Punk and stuff like that. Well, then CM Punk's like, it's just business. And that's,
CM Punk does have a point. It is just business.
Yeah, it is. And then he used to ask himself if he's a good guy. Asks if he's the champ, and he says yes. CM Punk's like, I just destroyed your boy. That's going to be a precursor to what I'm going to do to you this Sunday not this Sunday, but Sunday as Double or Nothing. And then he's like, one way or another, I'm going to get a handshake from you at the end of the match.
And
extends his hand, and
next thing you know,
Adam Hangman Page gives him flips him off. Then that little exchange. But man, I tell you, CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page are going to be one hell of a match, I tell you. So Tony Schiavone goes on, and with Britt, there's Britt Baker going up against the Joker and Jamie Hayter going up against Tony Storm. Then he's like, well, if you guys win, you're going to face each other in the next round. Then they had this, if they win, will they face off against each other? Could that happen? Well, we'll leave that. We'll leave that thought. So next match, we get the debut of the very nice, very evil Danhausen.
Yes, Danhausen, very nice, very evil. He's going up against Mr. Tony Nice. Tony not so nice?
Well, yeah, Tony wasn't very nice, as he gets him with the running knees.
I don't understand. I tried to curse him. It didn't work.
Trying to curse him, but Mark Sterling distracts him before getting the curse on, and then gets the running knees on him. 1, 2, 3. And Mark Sterling's like, are you shocked? Well, I'm not. And keeps attacking Danhausen until Hook comes out.
Well, not to mention, he also said, this man got an entrance talking about Danhausen, and you didn't even get one. So.
Yeah, Danhausen got an entrance, and Tony Nese was just out there, didn't even get an entrance. Well, he got an entrance, but they had to play it off as he didn't get an entrance. But
He got the jobber entrance.
yes, but Danhausen keeps on getting attacked. Then eventually Tony Nese was going to pull down the knee pad and do it, and then who comes out? None other than Hook. They sent Hook again. Hook comes out and saves him, and then they bail out. And then Danhausen extends his hand out to Hook, and to big shocking news, Hook actually shakes his hand. We're gonna get Hookhausen.
Yes.
Finally. So going forward, so MJF and Wardlow, they do have their contract extension, or contract signing. And then they go over the conditions. Well, these conditions sound very similar to the same conditions that Cody Rhodes had to go for when he had a face-off against MJF. MJF tries to let Wardlow talk, laughing. It's like, I don't know what's so funny, War Dog. So he has, later tonight, he's going to get whipped 10 times. Now, I don't know if it's going to be with MJF's belt or Wardlow's belt or somebody else's belt. But Wardlow is going to get whipped 10 times. I wonder how he's going to take it. Cody was, severely hurt afterwards. I wonder if Wardlow is going to be like, kind of shrug it off. Then if he does take the 10 lashes, he's got to wrestle Shawn Spears the next week in a steel cage match with special guest referee MJF. Well, if anybody knows that steel cage match, anything goes. So MJF will probably try to find any way to screw over at Wardlow. But then if he beats Shawn Spears in the steel cage match, then he will get the match. But there's always a big but. If Wardlow loses at Double or Nothing, he will never be able to sign a contract with AEW forever.
So Wardlow has to win.
So Wardlow has to win against MJF at Double or Nothing, or he will never ever be able to sign a contract in AEW in his whole entire pro wrestling career.
Not to mention also, probably even bigger is he will never be able to get released from MJF's contract. But then again, I think technically he's already been released from his contract, but I'm not entirely sure where they're going with the storyline.
Right. And then afterwards, after he signs the contract and everything, after MJF's like, you can take off the cuffs, he was about to get him back on, and then he starts taking out the security guards again! And then takes out Spears. And then MJF was about ready to run. He caught him. Then Mark Sterling got him with the chokehold, where Wardlow tosses him off his back and then picks him up to powerbomb him through the table. I'll tell you, Wardlow is one guy you don't want to mess with, MJF. So, going forward, Samoa Joe claims that he will win the whole entire tournament, and after he does, will come after Lethal and his gang. Thoughts? Does Samoa Joe have a chance in hell to win it all? Probably. It would be nice to see, but either way, I think he's going to go after Lethal and his gang, regardless if he wins or loses it. So
something told me
that's why I don't think him winning it all makes the most sense.
I was going to say, something told me that Lethal and his stooges are going to get involved with Samoa Joe's match against the Joker,
Yeah, I think so too.
in which it would be a shocker to everybody that the Joker would win.
Right. So going forward, Starks beats Jungle Boy to retain the FTW World Title off the distraction from Swerve Strickland, which I kind of found a little odd. But I do have very big speculation that the tag team title match is going to be a triple threat tag team title match, and it's going to be Swerve and Keith against Team Taz against Jurassic Express because of that match. It makes the most sense. It's got a good build, and it's going to be better than just seeing Team Taz against Jurassic Express. Because at least you then add one other tag team that's in the fold, and it yeah, and then, like I have it here, Keith Lee joins up with Swerve Strickland, and could they want the tag team titles as well? Because I could have swore I saw, if you were watching it, I don't know if you saw it too, it kind of looked like they were doing that. They want the tag team titles as well. Could that be the route that AEW goes? Could they go a triple threat tag team title route?
Potentially, I think so. Because not for nothing, Ricky Starks and Hobbs and Starks both need something better than like being the FTW champion and like the whole Team Taz thing.
Right.
What are they
Because
even doing?
honestly, nothing with everything that's going on, but they kind of need they like nothing against Jurassic Express, but they're getting like dull as the tag team champions, and it's kind of bad for me to say about them because they're great competitors and great talent in the ring, but right now, just as tag team champs, they're just like you're just thinking like, when are they gonna drop these damn titles? Because it just they're not good. I mean, with them really. So moving forward, the Jericho Appreciation Society does have their victory speech, but then get beaten down by the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston and Pride and Powerful. Marty, we were wrong.
Yeah.
It's not Homicide and Hernandez. But if you had to choose the two members of the Blackpool Combat Club, do you think it's going to be Moxley and Danielson?
I think so.
I don't think Wheeler Yuta is going to be part of it. I think he's going to have his own thing.
I was going to say, I think he's going to end up being in a program where he's defending his Ring of Honor Pure Championship.
Then again, if it somehow does end up being 6 against 6, who could potentially be that 6th member? Why could I see it being Sammy Guevara somehow rejoining with the Jericho Appreciation Society? I didn't even think about that. It could happen. It could very well happen. But who knows? So going forward, Tony Storm beats Jamie Hayter. I don't think we have to go too much into that.
That was quite the.
All right.
No.
But then we go on to the main event of Dynamite. Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin. Can we just talk about the amazing
oh my lord
match they had? Man.
Darby Allin nearly killed himself for our entertainment.
anything goes match. Got approved by Tony Khan and Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin in a short match that they had, just blew the house, the roof off the building. Well, this is why I say it may not be who you think it would have been. You know, Darby is one crazy maniac because he had the backflip off the ladder into the bed of chairs that Jeff Hardy was on, and man, that freaking edge of the chair there probably got him pretty damn good. Then Jeff Hardy had a swanton bomb onto the stairs, the steel stairs. Well, what else happened? Then there was the beginning of the match where Darby basically ran full force into him, and there was just a lot of great moments from that match. I thought Jeff Hardy was gonna swanton bomb him into the bed of chairs. That would have been something, but it was probably best that it was more Darby than Jeff. But Darby goes for the pin, and then Jeff Hardy rolls him up afterwards and pins him 1, 2, 3, ultimately stealing the win away from Darby Allin, which honestly I was shocked as all hell to see. I really was. And like I rightfully so put it down in the notes, after a very brutal back and forth contest. It was brutal. It was back and forth. Was the right man win? I don't think so. It would have been nice to see Darby win it, but good for Jeff. It's great to see that they're really but the only thing I don't like about Jeff winning over Darby is that AEW is kind of doing the same thing that WWE is doing, pushing him as a singles competitor and not focusing on the Hardy brothers in the whole.
Yeah.
That right there is like, why? Oh my gosh. See, that's what gets me right there is like, you have more there's more of an upbringing with having Darby winning than having Jeff win. Yeah, I get it. If Jeff didn't win, then what could you really do? But again, there would have been something for the Hardys somewhere along the lines, having a match on the card. Well, we get onto the first match of Rampage, which was a earlier time than normal, 5:30 p.m. Start time. Well, we got the reuniting Death Triangle against the Andrade Family Office. Well, Death Triangle beat the Andrade Family Office to really no some big surprise. And then the lights go out. Turn on, and who ends up being right there? The House of Black. If you had your best bet, are we going to see Death Triangle and the House of Black at Double or Nothing?
I think so.
I don't know if it's going to be the main card, but it's definitely going to be on the Double or Nothing card. Marty, and then you see this too. It's about time. It really is about time that these two trios go up against each other. I get it, injuries have plagued that from happening with Rey Fenix being hurt, but at least now we're going to get that match. We're gonna get that 6-man tag team match between Death Triangle and Andrade Family Office. Then going forward, Sean Spears. I really had to go into too much about this. Sean Spears beats Bear Boulder with a C4 and then attacks him with a chair afterwards. Sean Spears getting himself a victory. So we are going to get the buy-in match. It's going to be Tony Nese and Mark Sterling against Hook and Danhausen. And then Tony Nese claims that he can beat Hook and Danhausen by himself. And then when they get to Vegas, they put 10K on them. Thoughts? Could Tony Nese truly beat Hook and Danhausen all by himself?
No.
Probably not. Danhausen, well, clearly he can. Hook and Danhausen? No. I'm really hoping in this tag team match that we do get to see more out of Danhausen, because I'm sorry, that first match of his just looked absolutely horrible. Horrible. So it would be nice to see Danhausen get a little bit more offense in against Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. Get some revenge on him because he cost him the match. So, no, I don't think that Tony Nese could beat Danhausen and Cook by himself. No chance in hell. So, Ruby Soho beats Riho to advance to the semifinals. Good.
Destination overload. Ruby Soho. She is advancing.
Yeah. It's about time. Good. You know, because if he had Riho, then there was no hope for Ruby Soho at all for the rest of her AEW career. That's why I think having Ruby Soho win it all makes the most sense, or at least have her in a finals against the Joker. Or maybe, you know what would be cool to honestly see? Have Britt beat the Joker and have Britt versus Ruby Soho in the finals, and have Ruby Soho this time beat Britt Baker. Get revenge on Britt Baker.
It would be nice.
It would.
It would certainly
really
be
would.
nice.
It would.
Because, not for nothing, Ruby Soho hasn't really been able to bounce back from it that well, but I'm really hoping that she does bounce back from
I'm
losing
hoping
those
so.
2 championship opportunities, and because it's.
I know it's been bad for Ruby Soho ever since she's entered into AEW. Just her whole entire pro wrestling career hasn't been all too great, honestly. But so the Acclaimed and Gun Club are together. They're trying to figure out a new catchphrase and hand gesture. Well, their hand gesture is, that. Their catchphrase is, yo, listen. Which I kind of like. I mean, so the real question is their new faction gonna work out?
Something tells me no.
It probably won't, but it's gonna be nice to kind of see. I think it's gonna be hilarious. I like what I kind of like what Billy Gunn is doing, mentoring this faction. So I would love to see what it could be capable of. And as this episode comes out, they already wrestled on Dark Elevation. I don't know if they won or not, but
we don't watch Elevation.
We don't watch Dark Elevation, so we don't know.
And it's no disrespect, but
I know exactly.
However, when AEW comes to town again, it's not to say we probably wouldn't catch Dark Elevation before the live, airing of Dynamite, and then
right, and Rampage.
Tapings of Rampage.
Yeah. Then, going forward, Chris Statlander is now Red Velvet's new opponent. Thoughts? I don't know what's truly going on with Hikaru Shida and
Yeah,
backstage, honestly.
it's a bit of a um, sticky situation to say the least. But the only thing we've been told so far is that she was injured during the street fight. Not and Sheeta is trying to say that no, I tried to fly back to the States, but I couldn't get back from Japan in time. So something told me that it's a bigger story that we don't know about.
Oh yeah, I think so too. It's cool and all, I think it gets Chris Statlander a new opportunity for her to really, get back up there with a new character. But um, I don't, I don't know if I see her beating Red Velvet honestly, because she didn't really earn a spot to get into the tournament. She kind of just took over for a spot. So who knows? But we get on to the main event of Rampage in a pretty good back and forth contest. Scorpio Sky and Kazarian. Um, it would have been kind of nice to have seen Kazarian win the TNT Championship, but Scorpio Sky fortunately does beat Kazarian to retain the TNT Championship with the help of Dan Lambert and Ethan Page, who he is now still going to be aligned with. Of course, Dan Lambert's like, oh, isn't it great? Let's see when a plan comes to action. Well, I hate to see it, Kazarian. Sammy Guevara warned you. This isn't the same Scorpio Sky you once knew. He's going to stab you in the back. And that's exactly what happened. He stabbed you in the back. But then again, don't be shocked if this is the last time that they go up against each other for the TNT Championship.
If it is, I keep Sammy away from the TNT title.
Or if you're going to do anything with a TNT Championship, have it Kazarian versus Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara. Make it at least a little bit more entertaining to watch at
you need
Double or Nothing.
You just need like fresh faces in general when it comes to the TNT Championship because like as of late they haven't had fresh faces on in that TNT title picture. It's literally been the same two people. I mean, now with the exception of Kazarian, who challenged, but even then, like, yeah, it's.
See, before we do end this episode, I was even telling Marty before everything when came out photo wise was Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. I even thought, well, why not have the former AEW World Heavyweight Champion as the Joker? He's been out for a long time. Having a comeback right now makes the most sense. I can't see why he's not anywhere like 100%, cleared to come back. I know he was recovering his injuries. He's been out for quite a lot of months. Since the last pay-per-view, I would think, right? Actually, maybe even before then. It's been a while.
No, it was before then. Because the last pay-per-view was Revolution. He wasn't at Revolution.
So, he's been out for quite some time. Could, Mr. One Wing Angel himself, Kenny Omega, could Kenny Omega truly be the Joker? And I was thinking, it could make a lot of sense to have him come back now. Who knows? Who really knows? And if it isn't Kenny Omega, then I can't see why it couldn't be him coming back at the pay-per-view or something like that himself. So Don't discredit anything. But as far as that, this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Please make sure to follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports and Entertainment, or at Tinkle Sports. Over there is our channel, Tinkle Sports and Entertainment. We usually like to have this show every Wednesday at 5 p.m., but sometimes things happen. So, please make sure to watch all of our other shows where it's Sunday Morning Tinkle every Sunday at 9 a.m. unless, there's no real sports to talk about or things happen. And then there's also Out of Turn 4 every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Other than that, everyone, we will see you in the next video.